Welcome back, all you Flux automators, and in this video I'm going to take you through some of the tips and tricks on your brand new Samsung Galaxy Watch 7 Ultra. Now there's a lot of videos out there that have how many different tips and tricks that you could watch, but I've been doing some of my own investigations and also watching some of those videos, and I've brought together some of the ones that I feel are very useful and important to some people. A lot of the other videos have these tips and tricks that are from previous Galaxy Watch devices that have just come over to this one. But in this one, I'm just going to highlight some of the new things that you can do with the watch.
Flux Automate.
So the first tip I'm going to show you is actually how to skip through a track. So not just skipping through different tracks, but how you can scroll through a particular track or any media that you're playing externally from the watch. So if you've got anything playing on your phone or you've got it cast to your TV, you can actually use this to scrub through whatever you're playing, like the music on Tidal or Spotify, or even if you're watching YouTube. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to pull up a media application on my phone and start playing some music. As you can hear, the music's playing right there. Now if I select the option here and I press and hold, as you can see, I'm actually scrubbing through the track. Okay, so that's useful if you're listening to some external music from the watch or on your TV. You can use this as a controller. Okay, at the same time, if you're playing your music and you're doing other things, you could also have that music playing. Let me just turn down the volume on that all the way, and let's go to the home screen. Okay, so let's say we're doing some activities. So for example, let's start a workout. Okay, so get that started, and then also I might be doing some kind of timer. So let's get a stopwatch. Let's start that. Let's go back to the home screen. Okay, so right here we have the icon that tells us the particular app that is working right now, but if we want to access the other apps, we can just click on here and it gives us the list of the different apps that are running, that are live. Now you can just jump straight into those, just like that from the home screen. Okay, and we could change to our music. So if you're doing a workout or anything like that and you want to just change and manage your music, you can just do that. You can also do it in the app itself, but depending on what application that you're running, sometimes you might be running some music directly from your phone, or you might be using any other applications. You can jump in and out of those applications as long as they are live and they are running. Now when I say live and running, it just means, say for instance, if I pause this now and I went to the home screen and I clicked on there, it's no longer visible because it's not live. It has to be running and actually doing something for you to jump in and out of it from this shortcut. Now it would be nice if from here you could just close off the application, but I don't think you can. But as long as they're not active, okay, this is on pause. As long as they're not active, they then disappear. So the next tip I'm going to show you is how to enable your developer options. Now the developer option just give you more access to configure your watch exactly how you want. It allows you to install different types of applications from external APKs and a lot more other things that you can do with that. So what you do is you go to your settings, about watch, scroll down to software information, and the software version, just click on it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, put in your password, need to cover up. And now it says developer mode turned on. Okay, so when you come back out of here, you will now have the option, the developer options in here, and you can go in and do anything that you need to. Some of the good things that you can do is change transitions. If you want your watch to look a bit more faster and zippier, rather than having these animations going on, you can have it just jump straight into the applications. So the next tip is how to enable your touch sensitivity. Now there is one basic way that you can do, and if you've had a Galaxy Watch before, you probably know this, but there is another shortcut, and this enables you, now we don't have the bezel, the moving bezel. Using this is going to be very much needed at all times if you're wearing gloves. Now there are 2 ways to do this. you could go into here, and as long as you have it as one of your shortcuts, you can turn it on and off from here. If you don't have it as a shortcut, what you can do is from the home screen, if you press and hold these two right here, the two buttons on the side, you get the power off, siren, emergency, but right underneath that you have touch sensitivity, so you can turn that off and on just like that. So the next tip is very interesting. So if you have any disabilities, like say for instance you only have one arm, or you have less functionality in one arm for example, or you could just be holding something and you need to have access to your watch, you can enable this function. If we go down to settings again, we go to buttons and gestures. Now you may have seen the basic buttons and gestures that you can do, like shaking your wrist, double tapping and things like that, but you can scroll all the way down to universal gestures, click on that, turn that on, and what it's going to do now is just take you through some of the steps that how you could use it. Okay, say okay to that, and then let's look at the gestures. Okay, so you got pinch for next item, double pinch to previous item, make a fist to tap. You have make a fist twice to action an item, back and forth with your hand. You can go to the previous screen. Okay, so you can jump into the tutorial and it will take you through them. So you got pinch, okay, double pinch, making a fist, get fist twice, back and forth is when you go like that. So you got this focus indicator color, so it enables you that once you're actually in the app or you're using your watch and you're actually doing one of those functions, it will show that this universal gestures is actually working. Okay, so the activation method, make a fist twice, and you can change the indicator color that relates to the particular function that you're doing. Okay, auto activation off, so I'm going to turn that on. Okay, detects useful situations like incoming calls, alerts, media controls and more. Okay, so when we go back to the home screen now. Okay, so to get this started, once I do a fist, okay, so I now have selected an app. I want to go back out of that. Okay, so now you can move through the different options. I can go backwards, and in here I might want to just go back to recent apps and just squeeze once to go into that. Okay, so it is a little bit fiddly, but trust me, if it's something that you need, at least you have the option there. You just have to take the time to learn how best to use it. So if you want to use just some of the basic ones on there, you've got to shake the wrist, you've got the back and forward, you've got the pinch, and you've got the double pinch. So I'll show you just how the pinch and double pinch work. Let's bring up an application. Let's say, let's use a stopwatch for example. Let's do a double pinch. Okay, so now it's paused it. Double pinch again. You can go in and configure the shaking of the wrist or the double pinch. I find this very useful. So say for instance, you've got an alarm going off or a call coming in and you may have gloves on or something else in one hand. You can use this just to end the call or to stop the alarm. Okay, so another useful tip, and I find is very, very useful, is that when I'm going to sleep and I'm wearing my watch, because I want to measure all my sleep patterns and all that information, once I put it into sleep and I want to go back to the actual watch itself, you don't have to actually turn off the sleep. You can actually go through the screen and actually do that, because when you usually just press a button, it won't allow you to. It will tell you you've got to turn it off, but here's a way to actually do that. Once you are in your sleep mode, okay, so we're in sleep right now, okay, screen turns off. Okay, so you bring up your sleep, you can just swipe, okay, so you can swipe to go through anything that you want like this, and then once you finish, just tap and then it will go back to sleep. Okay, and then you can just jump to any of your applications just like that. and then go back to sleep. Okay, so you don't have to turn it off to then go into your applications. You can just do it directly from sleep mode, like this. Okay, so if we stop that, okay, so pressing these buttons shouldn't really do anything, but this one actually does activate, which is a little bit annoying. But even if you tap the screen, you're not going to wake up the watch. Swipe from the top, not going to wake up the watch. Just click on the button, then swipe back, and takes you into your watch, and then you can put it back to sleep once again. So another tip to stop you from going into any of your shortcut or your action button apps is to actually set this to a double tap rather than a single tap. Okay, we can just double tap, and then we go into the, let's close that off, and then we go into whatever we've set and allocated to that button. So to do that, just go into settings, then in buttons and gestures, start action with, so you got the action button and you can say double press. Okay, so you got short press or double press. I think it's better to have it as double press because you can knock something on accident and it would start a timer, for example, or whatever you've got set to it. And at least it's double press, it's less likely to activate. I wish there was more options to actually add different functionality to the action button, but I'm sure something will be coming soon, or some developer out there will create an app which will enable you to open that up a bit more. But with saying that, you're most likely going to have to make sure it's in developer mode to enable those extra settings. Another very useful tool is if you're doing any outdoor activities and you're actually recording your session, for example, and you're going on a long walk or trail walk. Okay, now you've got the GPS and you got it 2 times, double the strength, I should say. You can now track back wherever you've been, so you're not going to get lost. But I wouldn't fully rely on that, but there is an option to actually have that. So once you've actually have an activity and you go scroll back, okay, and you click on settings here, so you got backtrack here. So tap here to get navigation guides back to your start point during your workout. Now you need to make sure that you've actually started the workout right at the beginning so that it will bring you back to that point. It's really good to have. It's not going to show me anything right now because I'm just sitting here. But if you're going on a long walk, 10, 15, an hour, or whatever it is, you can actually get navigation back to your original start point. Now, another use for this action button is to allow you to pause any of your exercises that you're doing. So if we were to do a workout, let's get to workouts here. Let's do walking. Okay, got that running. Now you can just use this button and it will pause, and press it again and it will resume it once again. Now, if you're like me, you're a person that really likes to watch a lot of YouTube and also goes to bed very late, but still has to wake up very early in the morning. And this is one of the reasons why I actually purchased this, is it enables you to analyze all your data regarding like what time you're going to sleep, how well you're sleeping. Now, this was done on previous watches before, but now you have this score at the end of the day, or beginning of the next day, which will show you how ready you are to do certain activities. So say, for instance, you know, you're doing some powerlifting or you're going on a long run, for example, it will show you, do you have enough energy and stored energy to actually complete and go hard? Because sometimes you have to have quiet days, sometimes you have to have days where you can be really active and really push it. Okay, so I've got it set up as one of the applications. Okay, so I'll scroll through and this is where I see my energy score. So right now I'm 74 out of 100, and this is 10 better than yesterday because yesterday was 64. So it's really good to see how well you are actually resting and taking your time and how well your score sits. So it's fair at the minute, it should be good really, but at least it's better than yesterday. Now if you click into this, you'll get more information on your time, your average sleep time consistency, you know, if you wake up during the night, sleep timing, what time you actually going to bed, previous day's activity, your heart rate, and all that information here. So it's really good to see. And one of the key things here, I think for me, is actually seeing your skin temperature during sleep. Now, when you're nice and cool, you sleep better. Really hot is when you tend to wake up or have night sweats. So for me, sometimes I have night sweats. So it's good to see what my temperature was throughout the night. And if I'm seeing different things happening, then maybe the next day I need to make sure I'm monitoring what I'm eating and what time I'm actually eating. So in addition to what you can see on the watch right here, if you actually open the phone, you can see way more data and a lot more information, which enables you to track your sleep and your rest times, and make sure you're in peak performance whenever you have anything that's really important, like an event or anything like that, to make sure you're getting the right amount of rest and getting the right amount of sleep to prepare you for that next day. So this next one is for if you use Google Assistant and Bixby. Now you might say to yourself, why use one or the other? One does a lot more things related to your actual phone, which is Bixby. So if you want to set a timer or an alarm or anything like that, use Bixby. But if you want to research and get some information, then you will use Google Assist. Now you can use both of these on your watch, but sometimes you might think, oh, I'm replacing one with the other. So go into settings, buttons and gestures again, and we have double press for Assistant and then press and hold for Bixby. So this is the home button. So let's go back to the home screen. Okay, so press and hold gives me Bixby, and the double press gives me Google Assistant. So just some bonus material here. So I have a bowl of water. I'm going to test the bezel to see how well it works when you put your finger in it, in the water. So there's water on the screen and I'm just running my finger around the digital bezel and it works okay. It could be way better, to be honest. But just a couple of wipes and it kind of works well. It doesn't really have to be that dry. As you can see, it's working. A few stutters here and there, but you can still get to what you need to with wet hands. And in this one, I've turned on the extra sensitivity for the screen, and we're just testing the glove here, and the glove seems to work all right. Swiping and tapping, but to be honest, without the bezel, actually trying to scroll using the digital bezel with your gloves on doesn't really work that great. So Samsung, bring back the bezel in the next one. So thanks for checking out the video, and make sure you subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for that chance to win one of those gifts. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.